Wait, no. Who can I react to with this? Where is he at? Is he's probably yeah, he's not home. All right, let's see.
Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different.
I'm excited for this movie. I just saw Spider-Man.
He used to be kind.
It was a good
He used to
movie.
be caring. And then everything he loved was taken from him.
I think that's
I
his
knew he
mom.
was lost, but I did not realize that he was broken.
Oh my God, he
Victor, did you do this?
That's fantastic. That's
All of you have lived stolen lives. But now you must give them back.
oh shit.
Answer me, Victor! Did you?
Did y'all just see how fast he just jumped from that building and land? Bro,
Back.
nah, oh, it's GG's. Oh my God, that man is that's faster than hey, Avengers, Fantastic Four, the new Avengers.
Answer me, Victor! Did you do this? I swear, you will beg for hell long before I grant it.
Does he have some type?
Just to me.
Was that like Loki's power where you could like manipulate spells? Is that?
For I am Doom.
Oh my God. See it in Infinity Vision. 12/18/2026. Wow. 4 months. 4 months. Now we're going to watch. I forgot. There's a guy that breaks down the breakdown trailer. He breaks down all the trailers. Yeah, right here. Is it him? I think it's the new Rockstars. He does it. Yeah, it's him.
Here is everything you missed in the
let's watch
Avengers
this.
Doomsday Doom trailer
What did we
that
miss?
they just revealed publicly at D23 and on YouTube. Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of the new Doom-centered trailer for Avengers Doomsday. I saw a version of this trailer in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con in July, but now that I can see it in full detail, and now that it has some slightly different shots, there are just so many new details
Yo,
to
Doom
discuss.
is gonna be
So let's
crazy,
go
bro.
through this frame by frame for all the details you missed. And yes, I am wearing the physics are theoretical, but the fun is real shirt that Peter Parker wears in Spider-Man Brand New Day. We have all kinds of great nerdy
I just
shirt
watched
designs
Spider-Man
just like this available
W
on our
movie.
merch store
8 out of 10.
nerdlight.shop, which is the best way to support our channel. And huge thanks to all of our fans who rock our gear and post selfies and tag us, like Mauricio and Ivy Marie and Toxicali 2 and your best friend Charlie Cox. And thanks to her friend Stephanie for getting her that shirt. What a good friend. All right, let's get started with this new trailer.
All right,
Victor
bet.
was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different.
The trailer opens with Dr. Doom on his throne in the Doomstadt. That is his castle in Latveria. We saw a version of this throne at the Billy World event in Shanghai, and now that we see the floor before the steps that lead up to
That's
the
so
throne glow
crazy.
with a mystical green energy that looks rather like fiery green embers.
Like
the pattern
Loki.
upon which this green glow moves is the same runic symbol that we see on Dr. Doom's gauntlet. Now, when the July 20th trailer dropped, there were posters like this person on Twitter and on Reddit who were trying to compare compare this symbol to specific runes, and they made a very AI structured type argument for how these runes combine the 3 schools of magic of the dark arts, soul absorption from having trapped the Hazareth 3 demons, and the Odin Force. But that red runic comparison image is actually from the Doom 2016 game that has nothing to do with Marvel's Doctor Doom.
Not at
It's
all.
the kind of hallucination our buddy Claude or ChatGPT likes to do. In truth, Doctor Doom learned witchcraft from the teachings and relics left behind by his mother Cynthia, who was a witch, and then traveled through time to enhance his powers in the mystic arts by training under Cagliostro. Yes, as of the Book of, and Morgan Le Fay. And he gained lots of wisdom from Doctor Strange himself. And speaking of witches in Doom's life, in July we learned that he's going to have at least 3 Latvian witches of different colors. And a new masked figure in Doom's coven of Latvian witches is being referred to as Boris, and is believed to be Doctor Strange, you know, with the third eye in his head, sometime after the events of the Multiverse of Madness post-credit scene. This green magic burning up through the floor reminds us that Doom's mother Cynthia currently has her soul trapped in hell by Mephisto. Good thing we got Ghost Rider coming to the MCU to give Mephisto something to do in the cinematic universe. You'll notice the windows behind Doom's throne bear the exact same framing and shape as a background behind the Doomsday countdown clock that we've seen since December. So confirmed that countdown clock is in the Doomstat. Now I have to say it is possible that what we're seeing here is not actually in Latveria in any universe, but might actually.
How are they going to make it to where they have Tony Stark as Doom? Like, how are they gonna do that storyline to where they combine that? Because if they unmask him, he's gonna be Tony. You know what I mean? So how are they gonna make that a thing? If you know what I'm talking about.
Be a redecorated citadel at the end of time after Doctor Doom sacked it from whoever was occupying it since the end of Loki. I'll say that this throne room doesn't look anything like that office that He Who Remains was in, but I just have to acknowledge the possibility. I mean, I've seen those home makeover shows. They can completely redecorate something to make it look like, you know, Doom chic. We hear Vanessa Kirby's voice as Susan Storm saying, Victor was always the smartest guy in the room. He used to be different, as if she's kind of making excuses for this freak. But this confirms that the Victor Von Doom of this movie comes from the 828 universe of the Fantastic Four. He was known to the 4 of them. He was their friend. Like, I feel like a Munchkin's gonna run out to Sue Storm and be like, is it true he was your friend? And she's gonna be like, well, our paths did cross at school. Hey, I guess Galinda and Sue do like to travel by bubble. I mean, by saying this, Sue is even acknowledging that Victor was smarter than her own husband, Reed. And we know now that when we saw that empty chair at the Future Foundation with the Latvian flag in Fantastic Four First Steps, that chair probably belonged to Victor's predecessor, Vladimir Fortunov, the dictator of Latveria. And Vlad wasn't there because there was some civil unrest back at home due to Victor Von Doom leading a revolution with the Zafiro clan to overthrow Vlad. Too bad, Vlad. But all of this now has us rethinking that moment in the Fantastic Four post-credit scene when Sue found Doom with her son Franklin. Was Franklin really reaching up to touch the face of an old family friend? I know in other videos I acknowledged a theory that that green cloaked person might have actually been the green Latvian witch, a variant of Sue Storm. No, Matt Shackman did confirm to our friend Brandon Davis that Robert Downey Jr. was actually on set for that scene. But now the Marvel Studios logo is silver metal over green smoke. Yes, the colors and textures and overall scheme of Doctor Doom. And Sue goes on in the next section.
He used to be kind, he used to be caring. And then
it all changed.
everything he loved was taken from him.
Tears are running down Sue's cheeks here as she talks about Victor. I'm a little worried what she's so sad about. Like, could she just be a mother worried about where Franklin is? Probably not. If we see Franklin's safety, or mostly safely, in the arms of Uncle Johnny later in the trailer. So I'm really worried about Reed's fate at this point in the movie, because we do not see him in this location with Sue in any of these trailer shots. In fact, all we really see him in this trailer is a very dramatic moment, very close to a very dangerous person. And now we see a wounded Ian McKellen Magneto with long silver hair.
Yeah,
and it looks like he has a sling around his neck holding up an injured arm. Who hurt our boy Magneto? Or was this just the physical toll taken on a mutant of his age after he reverses the magnetic polarity of a planet and sends a tidal wave hurtling into New Jersey? I mean,
That could be the reason.
I really hope Peter Parker is in this movie just to set up the crazy paradox of the fact that he and Ned in Spider-Man Brand New Day just quoted Gandalf in The Fellowship of the Ring, now meeting the face of Gandalf. What did Gandalf look like to them when they watched The Fellowship of the Ring? Next, we see Channing Tatum Gambit, very much unwounded, and then our boy Steve Rogers tilting his head down with his dad beard. I think all of these characters are in the Baxter building with Sue, the same part of the penthouse level where Sue walked back from the kitchen to find Doom with Franklin. When Fantastic Four First Steps came out, the cast cast indicated in interviews with Collider that in the scenes that they shot for Doomsday, these actors were shocked by how many other famous Marvel characters would be joining them on these Baxter Building couches. Now it looks like they got everybody, or at least everybody who's not dead. Now we see Doom back in his Doomsday castle, looking up at his tapestry from the poster. I analyzed that poster in another video in July, but at the top of it, we do see Doom's dead wife and child. I assume they're dead because they're amongst angels. Angels with salad fork wings. This is all on top of a globe that I think is meant to represent his vision of what he wants to create. A world that he's going to call Latverion, or as everybody else is going to call it, Battle World. Now, at the bottom of that poster on the right is a figure that many believe looks like Iron Man snapping from Endgame. Of course, the gesture that led to Tony Stark's death, and something that this Dr. Doom, I presume, witnessed or is aware of, because it could be part of the actions that created the ripple effect and incursions that impacted Victor's family's life and killed his wife and child. Sue says that everything Victor loved was taken from him, referring to his wife and child and local Chipotle. And it is still kind of a mystery how the Avengers' actions in Endgame even led to an incursion that just targeted Victor's wife and child specifically in a way that he would consider it a personal affront. Like, if Victor comes from that 828 universe, that universe is still intact. It's not like that Earth was fully devastated in any incursion event that Victor only survived. The 828 universe is still very much alive and well throughout the decade of the 60s in that universe. And if we assume this is his Doomsday castle here in Latveria, his home still seems to be very much intact, unless it was destroyed and he like rebuilt it. So what the hell happened? Was Victor out with his wife and kid vacationing on some cosmic beach facing a multiversal sea, and then a tidal incursion wave sucked them both away from Victor's arms in a vicious undertow? That sounds crazy. Maybe when Steve Rogers had to return the Soul Stone to Vormir, Red Skull was like, okay, Captain Rogers, but to take the stone back, I must select 2 random lives from the multiverse, and you might not like who I choose. And Steve's like, whatever you gotta do, Schmidt, I got some pegging to do. Or maybe Doom's wife and child just die from some tragic sickness or freak incident. Through his research through the multiverse, learns that his life was set on this course by just his universe being altered in a specific way because some schmuck named Steve Rogers set up camp in it, and he was not supposed to be in this universe. And so this grief that Victor thought.
So that means that the Victor that is trying to take everything back, Steve Rogers might have messed with the timeline, and that's why Doom is Doom instead of Doom being Iron Man. That because Captain America went back in time to dance with Peggy, or that means because he made that multiversal warp of that happening, Doom became Doom. So Doom was never Iron Man because Iron Man's universe, that Captain Rogers went to another universe, and then now we got Victor Von Doom. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
He was always meant to have, that he was just unlucky to be cursed with, he now realizes was actually a variation from a life that he could have had, still with his wife and child alive, and it was all caused by this one guy who needed to get his dance and pegging. We see Victor's bright green eyes staring up at this tapestry from under the mask. We should note that Robert Downey Jr. has dark brown eyes, so it looks like as Victor, he'll be wearing green contacts. Maybe among lots of cosmetic changes he'll adopt as Victor Von Doom. I assume he's gonna have some kind of latex facial scarring. The trailer goes on.
I knew he was lost, but I did not realize that he was broken.
Okay, so also here in what I assume is the Baxter Building is John Walker with his bench shield, Shuri, M'Baku, Shang-Chi, and Namor. We see Thor clenching his fist as if trying to steady a nervous tremor. In past trailer videos, I noted that the turquoise-colored telekineal vibranium given from Namor seemed to be woven into Shuri's armor. I think it also might be incorporated into M'Baku's armor here. Now the camera angles down on a hooded Dr. Doom from overhead as the floor shows the same circular pattern of runes that appeared before the Latvian witches on the display at San Diego Comic-Con in D23. It seems like this is the floor that holds his throne. Underscoring this trailer are these heavy bass notes that kind of sound like an alarm. It's just kind of a subtle or maybe not so subtle way to really raise the tension and make us terrified of what Doom's gonna do. Moving on.
Victor, did you do this? All of you have lived stolen lives. But now you must give them back.
Answer me, Victor! Did you do this?
Whoa. So boom, we are flying through the clouds of an atmosphere to see a version of Manhattan that has been completely wrecked. I assume this is some Manhattan because that green section in the middle looks a lot like Central Park. But yeah, I think we might be seeing our very first bird's eye view of Latverion, aka Battleworld, as it is in the process of being forged together. In Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars in 2015, when the 616 Earth and the 1610 Earth are collapsing and crashing into each other, Dr. Doom ends up taking pieces of this Earth and several other Earths to form what's called Battleworld, a vast patchwork of around 42 different sections that are taken from different Earths and realities. And specifically, the continents of Battleworld include a Manhattan district that's actually separated into 4 parts. The city is a merged 616 Manhattan with a 1610 Manhattan, and above these Manhattans hovers the inhuman city of Adelon, and beneath that city, Monster Metropolis. I think in this film adaptation, Dr. Doom will be merging the Manhattans of 3 Earths together: 616 with its new Avengers Tower, 828 with its Baxter Building, and 10005 with its rightful Statue of Liberty, seen in the events of the Liberty Island incident in the first X-Men film. But for those 3 to come together, rows and rows of buildings of all 3 of those Manhattans are going to have to be mowed down. Kevin Feige has indicated that Avengers Doomsday will hand off to Avengers Secret Wars in ways that pretty much follow Hickman's comic storyline. After the first teaser was shown at CinemaCon in April, Kevin Feige explicitly said this to Fandango.
Kevin, you mentioned Secret Wars. I know it's way down the line and you can't give too much away, but how do these 2 films relate?
Well, I think people familiar with the comic stories see that they will relate, but I will say this: they relate in a very different way than Infinity War and Endgame. I think people are expecting a similar connection, and while one certainly does lead into the other, it's in a very different way, and I will say that Secret Wars is as ambitious a project as we've ever embarked on.
I mean, that's pretty much a soft guarantee for Battleworld. I'll take it. But more recently, when pressed about Battleworld from Joshua Horowitz at San Diego Comic-Con, the directors, the Russo brothers, played coy.
We won't confirm or deny whether Battleworld appears in either of these films. And we cannot confirm or deny who appears in Battleworld, if Battleworld were to be in one of these films.
Yeah, these guys never confirm anything. And hey, maybe they're saying it'll just be called by Victor's name for this new world, Latverion. But yes, what we're seeing here is part of the terrifying new continent as it's gradually in the process of being stitched together. A world that's being built atop the void, the TVA dumping ground that we saw in Loki and Deadpool and Wolverine. I think that's also where we see the Bahrainian desert floor that's going to be the setting of Talokan with the water being pushed back. There's going to be lots of interesting terraformation that's going to be happening in this movie. And it's possible that on this world is where Ned's Spidey tracker said a new Spider-Man was found. I was kind of tough on the casting of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards in our recent sneak peek episode, but I do have to say I have always admired how hard the actor goes in this role, and he really shuts my ass up here.
Victor, did you do this?
Answer me, Victor! Did you do this?
I mean, that sense of betrayal that Reed has here, and that kind of dumbfounded shame he emotes too. Mwah! I mean, remember, Reed had this epic line in Fantastic Four First Steps.
It is my job to think terrible things so that terrible things don't happen. I don't dream, I don't wonder. I invite the worst possible thing into my head to figure out how to hurt them before they hurt anybody else.
This is Reed's curse. He overthinks every problem and imagines every worst case scenario and forces himself to live within these possible horrors so that he can make sure that they don't happen. But here, this is one possibility that didn't even remotely cross his mind. That his old friend from college, the one guy in the room smarter than he is going to use his magic and his science and his rage to destroy 3 Earths and remake them into his own utopian vision. Thank you to our friends at Comic Nerd and Stored Market. Comic Avengers Doomsday showed Reed Richards chalkboards from this movie, and among these equations, you can see Reed's calibration list for some machine he's building to try to stave off incursions. On-site heat capture arrays, checked. Spatial dissipation field generator, checked. On-site atmospheric stabilizers, not checked. Magnetosphere reinforcers, not checked. Also, Magneto. Geothermic sinks, checked. Crustal energy deposits, not checked. And momentum transfer regulator, checked. We are also reminded of the July trailer where we saw Reed's depiction of what's happening to these 3 worlds, and if you look closely, I spotted that there's these little magnet symbols that I think were added by Reed as a kids TV show host, or Herbie, as a way of showing that the 3 cores of these worlds have been magnetized in a specific way to attract each other, building some kind of cannon on these multiple Earths with different instruments to sustain the major structural elements of that Earth. The atmosphere, the crust, the core magnetic field, the heat, the gravity, to keep it from colliding with another Earth. But maybe all of this effort by Reed is just gonna be for nothing, because I'm assuming Victor planned for Reed to do this, and he's gonna instead hijack all of this technology, weaponize it to help expedite the destruction of these worlds and construct Battleworld. Like, I think Reed thinks the biggest problem to face is that 3 Earths are colliding. I don't think he's lived in the horrors of the possibility yet that there's actually a 4th world that's gonna be built from those broken pieces. So yeah, I think that's all being communicated here when we see Victor's green eyes just sadly raising up to Reed's from under that mask in an almost apologetic expression, like, oops, you got me. So now we see this shot of Scott Lang kissing Cassie Lang's forehead from the July trailer, and a new angle of Johnny Storm hugging Franklin Richards. It's the same moment from the other shot in the July trailer, but now it confirms it's the same actor as the actor who played Franklin in the Fantastic Four post-credit scene. But Franklin is now wearing these blue pajamas, not the blue turtleneck that he was wearing in a scene with Dr. Doom. So I no longer think that Doom is kidnapping these kids, and thank God. I really did not want another Gore the God Butcher from Thor Love and Thunder plotline. I've theorized this in other videos, but I wonder if Johnny and Franklin in this moment are being swept into Battleworld, and Johnny might be in the process of being transformed into the son of Battleworld. Or maybe Franklin is saving his uncle by using his power cosmic to warp his body into a form of something that brings light into this dark world that Franklin can later restore into a normal human form. There's a quick shot of Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier, and then Magneto in his helmet. It kind of looks like a Sentinel is moving behind him. I think this might be part of the battle where he's working with Cyclops to fight these guys. Actually, at San Diego Comic-Con, Hasbro released their awesome Marvel Legends figures for Avengers Doomsday, and it looks like Magneto's helmet will have this purple symbol on the forehead. We hear Robert Downey Jr.'s Latvian accent again as he says,
All of you have lived stolen lives, but now you must give them back.
and over this is a shot of Steve holding his baby from the first teaser, and Thor with his adopted daughter Love in the same kind of setup that we saw in the second teaser, and then the shot of Loki from the July trailer when he's visiting Steve Rogers in Steve's house, and Shuri on the deck of a ship with Joaquin Torres and Ava Starr, and then James Marsden Cyclops raising his head mid-battle. Stolen lives, give them back. I mean, what does Doom mean by that? And why are we seeing these particular characters under this line? So let's make a case of how these people are taking lives. Scott kind of has a stolen life. He was supposed to have stayed in the quantum realm after the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp. And if it wasn't for that pesky rat in Endgame, he never would have gotten out. He never would have reunited with Cassie. He never would have reconnected with the Avengers and told them that time travel was possible via the quantum realm. That set up everything in Endgame and the consequences that they're facing now. Steve's stolen life? Yeah, this is obvious. He was never meant to stay in the past and have this nice life with Peggy and this baby, who I assume is named James. Thor's stolen life? I mean, maybe Doom said you should have stayed fat.
Is he asleep?
No. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Doom anti-GLP-1 confirmed. No, Love, remember, is not Thor's daughter. It's really Gore's daughter who was reincarnated via eternity into the cosmic entity of Love. I mean, is the ending of Thor Love and Thunder in that well at the center of the universe something that Doom is really pissed off about? Maybe Doom hates the VFX in Thor Love and Thunder. Loki's stolen life, I think this one's an obvious one too. He was the time heist by the Avengers allowed Loki to escape as variant L1130 and have this alternate destiny that is very much going to matter to Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. And then Shuri's stolen life, I don't know, maybe that's just a really deeper meta insult from Doom that she's only Black Panther because her brother died. If that's what he means by that, that would be super mean. And then Cyclops' stolen life. Well, this argument applies. Our man Scott was supposed to be dead as of the events of X-Men The Last Stand at the hands of Phoenix, but Wolverine's tinkering with the timeline and Days of Future Past altered history so that Scott Summers was alive once more. A stolen life. I do wonder if the enthusiasm for the return of James Marsden Cyclops might be dampened as more and more people get excited for Kit Connor's Cyclops in the upcoming X-Men film. So with all of these characters, I wonder if Doom is suggesting all of your current existences is just furthering the messy outgrowth of a multiverse that led to all of these problems. Peggy Carter actress Haley Atwell repeatedly brought up this idea of existentialism when it comes to her role and many of their roles.
All I will say is that it is sort of an existential crisis of a movie, where the whole world is turned on its head and we don't even know who we are anymore.
Dr. Doom blasts out of this structure and speedily flips through the air before sticking a powerful landing. This looks like some kind of ship because it is the exact exterior window of this interior set from the set photo that showed Danny Ramirez, Ebon Moss-Backrack, Wyatt Russell, and the foot of Letitia Wright as Shuri. So that control panel makes me think that this is a ship of some kind, maybe a life raft that Reed Richards built to escape the incursions. Moving on to this crazy moment.
I swear, you will beg for a hell long before I grant it.
This is an expanded version of the confrontation from the first trailer. Now we see Doom conjuring his green magic to zip Stormbreaker out of Thor's hands and into a nearby statue. Just a reminder that this same god-killing weapon could cut through the combined blast of the 6 Infinity Stones to nearly kill Thanos if Thor had gone for the head. Now Thor goes for the head, and Doom's magic easily overwhelms this weapon that has the power level of the 6 Infinity Stones. But then in this close-up of Doom conjuring more green magic to throw Thor back, you can see very clearly in the shot a ribbon tied around Doom's arm. This ribbon was on the Doom costume's arm in the display at Comic-Con. I assume this is some kind of memento or reminder of his wife and or child. And then we end the trailer with Doom's response.
Hell answers to me. For I am Doom.
Yeah, that's one hell of a response to the God of Thunder. Also, we gotta remember that Doom has heard his mother screaming to him for help from hell. So yeah, hell does kind of answer to him. Doom punches the dirt and the broken sentinels rise, green magic coursing through their shoulder joints, their chests, and their eyes. It's pretty terrifying. Doom clearly gives no fucks, using his sorcery to weaponize the robots that were built by Bolivar Trask to kill a certain genetic group, mutants, to now attack this group. Peter Parker, this is why you don't invent mutant inhibitor technology. And now, if Doom can use this magic to deputize these sentinels, I kind of feel like he could do the same thing to people like Doctor Strange and Clea to be part of his coven of witches. Since Deadpool appeared at the Comic-Con panel, I do think that was all to tease Deadpool's appearance and perhaps the end of this movie. I mean, someone had to get Gambit out of the void. Now, at D23, Marvel had something of a follow-up to Ryan Reynolds' appearance in San Diego with this new video of Hugh Jackman doing a similar kind of thing to offer his services to do a cameo in Doomsday, but not actually confirm whether or not he's going to be in it.
Dude, I don't want to do this.
Just do it.
I've already done filming. This is
Do
silly.
it. Or maybe the next one is called Deadpool and Spider-Man and literally everyone except Wolverine.
Who are you? Like, what? That's both hurtful and spiteful.
Just ask the question.
Why are you sitting? Hey, Kevin. Hey, D23. Hope you're all having a great time. I just wanted to check in, just totally unprompted, and just wondering if you might need some help. Rounding out
the cast.
Rounding out the cast? Dude, they've got like 28 people. Why the hell do they need us?
Because we're the golden ones. We're special.
We're not special.
Now follow the fucking script.
Okay. So anyway, if you guys need some help rounding out the cast, I'd love to join. And I don't know, I might be able to convince Ryan to appear in Avengers Doomsday, but no pressure. I hate you so much, man.
I know, me too.
So I think in both instances, the bit is not working. Like, no offense to Jackman or Reynolds, but I was in the room for both bits, and both times the audience was just kind of confused and very impatient and kind of annoyed that Kevin Feige or Robert Downey Jr. didn't say anything after it was over. And clearly, by investing in these actors appearing in these high-profile panels for Avengers Doomsday at all, everyone is just assuming that they're going to be in the movie. So I think the big surprise, not really a surprise, is that when we get to the X-Mansion in Doomsday, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will just also be there, and we're all gonna cheer. Other updates I saw at D23 include Dr. Doom's alternate suit in this movie, Nightcrawler's costume with swords, and this interesting floor plan layout of the X-Mansion as we see it in Doomsday. One of these rooms will have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it. You can watch this other video that we released with more details. Meanwhile, Spider-Man Brand New Day's post-credit scene showed Ned's Spidey Tracker app locating another Spider-Man location in space, which could be on another arriving Earth in this incursion event in Doomsday. There are rumors that we're going to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's Earth of 96283, or maybe we're seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man respawning in this other new battleground that Dr. Doom is constructing, or maybe it's a similar signal that the Thunderbolts post-credit scene left us with. It was meant to be viewed as a Fantastic Four thing, and that Peter is actually showing up in the Baxter building of Earth 828. Now, Robert Downey Jr. has been dropping some big clues in the form of the clothes he's wearing throughout these events. Redditor Edit with Ego has done an amazing job translating everything. In the jacket that we saw him wearing on the Hall H stage, the right pocket spells revenge, the left pocket spells justice, the lapel along his chest spells out the phrase there is no promise of tomorrow, awesome, and then the right cuff spells the phrase to the victor, the left cuff spells the phrase go the spoils. This Redditor actually created a really awesome cipher, and how it's not letter by letter, it's more kind of runic and phonetic. This Redditor also used this cipher to translate the shoes that Robert Downey Jr. posted on Instagram, where the names Reed and Valeria appear across the straps. Valeria was the name of Doom's long-lost love, and Franklin and Sue ended up naming their second kid Valeria since Doom helped deliver her. But I think these shoes are telling us the name of Doom's wife and her daughter from the tapestry, Valeria. Valeria is Valeri dead. Comment down below with your thoughts on this, and a special thanks to one of our In Our Underground subscribers.